Welcome everyone. Today we're going to be continuing the strange/weird laws from around the world thing that I've been doing. Today I'm going to be focusing exclusively on weird laws in Mexico, ranging from the ones that are blatantly obvious things you shouldn't be doing to the ones that just make you question why is this even a law to begin with. Before we start though, if you guys have any other suggestions for countries with weird laws that you want me to cover, just let me know down below, and other than that, we're just going to jump right on into it. Starting off with drinking in the street. Does it happen? Of course. Is it legal? No. Many foreign visitors hail the liberal attitude to drinking in Mexico, erroneously believing that they can freely drink as much as they like in public without consequence. However, though, this is a belief that mainly stems from having visited heavily frequent tourist zones, whereas strolling down the street with a frosty Corona or whatever kind of beer you like in hand will likely not even provoke the batting of an eye. But don't be fooled, this actually is against the law, and it's not a crime that they will just look over basically. And the punishments can be hefty and arbitrary, ranging from fines to getting locked up for a night, whatever, you know what I mean? Probably having to pay a bribe or something. Anyways, that's all I got for that one. Moving on to another one. Now, this next entry is a very specific situation one. Basically, this is sitting in the wrong seat on the bus. But technically, this only applies if that bus seat has 12 pounds of marijuana hidden underneath it. Admittedly, this is because it's about a true story about how an Arizona woman was arrested for drug trafficking after the bus she was using to cross from Mexico to the US was searched. Basically, beneath her seat, they found a hidden stash of drugs and imprisoned her. While this was all a case of mistaken identity, you should, under no circumstances, get involved with drugs in Mexico, obviously. Big thing crossing the border and all this stuff. Bail does not exist if you're arrested for trafficking, and the trial can be drawn out and lengthy. Basically, you're going to end up having to pay heavy fines, definitely doing some jail time. You might even end up having to just pay the people in Mexico. I'm sure you guys have seen that Nelk prank from years and years ago, where they did the Coke prank in Mexico, and they basically, you know what I mean? They had to pay some money even just to get up out of there. Basically, jail time can be up to 25 years also, so personally, I would tell you not risk it. Like, it's not worth it. You're not getting paid that much for 25 years of life, so. But anyways, this is kind of a troll one on this list, but nonetheless, don't be that guy. Wrong place, wrong time. Still don't be that guy. You don't want that luck. Up next is illegal baby names. So if on the off chance you were thinking about having a baby in the Mexican state of Sonora, you'd be faced with a list of illegal baby names. The government has prohibited numerous weird names that are deemed derogatory, pejorative, discriminatory, or lacking in meaning. The Civil Registry has distributed a list of 61 names, including Rambo, Virgin, Batman, and sponsorship that parents will no longer be allowed to pick for their children. My bad for laughing, but dude, if you name your kid Virgin or sponsorship, like, I don't know, man. I think they should have just taken your kid away at that point. That is too crazy. There's an entire list. I'll try to put up a couple more of the weird names, but that's all I got for that one. That was just too weird not to include. Up next, peeing in public. This is an offense that the Mexican authorities delight in finding and arresting people for, particularly foreigners who think they can get away with a sneaky public urination instead of finding an actual bathroom. Either hold it or face the consequences. And basically, this one, the Mexican police, it's basically an easy arrest, you know what I mean? It's an easy fine, it's an easy lockup, because tons of people basically go to Mexico, obviously, for vacations, you know what I mean? Tijuana, Cancun, all these places, and if you're drunk enough, you're probably not going to look around, especially guys. I mean, you know how it is. You're probably not going to look around that long for a bathroom. So you can just find a bush or something, a little alleyway. You might try your luck, but if they catch you, they're definitely finding you. Like, this is an easy grab for them. So, and like they said, they love it. They love it. It's super easy. They find tons of foreigners doing this because it's all a vacation spot and they think they can get away with it. So don't be that guy. Again, don't be that one. Alright, up next is a super weird one. Basically, it's wearing shorts. If you're a man in Mexico, it technically remains illegal to wear anything but trousers according to one antiquated law. It's said that Mexico is trying to prove itself to be as modern as other nations and wanted to enforce that with a bizarre male dress code. Basically, it's pretty unlikely that you'll ever be arrested for wearing shorts nowadays, but you are still technically a lawbreaker if you go anything that shows your bare legs, basically, including shorts, swim trunks, basically anything that's not long pants. Technically, you're breaking the law, although likelihood that they're going to arrest you, not so much. So I wouldn't worry too much about this, but just know you're still doing it. So moving on to the next thing. All right, up next is basically a really short one, quick. Basically, it's drinking in the 72 hours before an election. Whether you're a citizen or not, or even able to vote in the election or not, drinking in the 72-hour period leading up to an either state or national Mexican election is just completely banned and outright. So, doesn't matter foreigner or not, whoever, you cannot drink for, 3 days, I think? 72 hours, 3 days. I don't know why I just blanked on that. I swear to God, I'm not that dumb. But anyways, quick and short one, moving on to the next one. Up next is taking your feet off the pedals of a bike. Another bizarre Mexican law that could technically but probably won't actually see you arrested is one about removing your feet from your bike pedals. And yes, you heard that right. Cyclists are not allowed to remove their feet from their bike pedals for fear that they could actually lose control and crash. Weird, but yeah. This law was actually passed in the late 19th century after an accident between a coach and a cyclist. And basically, the cyclist crashed, and nowadays you're not allowed to, you know how people be in at least United States, if you're from any big major city, I'm sure you have kids that ride bikes and, you know what I mean, they do all the tricks on their bike. You cannot at all, for any circumstances, basically take your feet off the pedals at all. Like, I don't know. To me, that's a weird concept because I don't know. Like, I guess I've never even thought about not being able to take your feet off. So if you're from Mexico, let me know if it's any different. I mean, I doubt it is, but anyways, moving on to the next one. This is another short one. Up next is public displays of affection in Guanajuato. Despite being the city which is home to the Callejón del Beso, or Kissing Alley, a law passed in 2009 prohibited kissing in public in Guanajuato for at least a few days. Alright, one of Mexico's most notoriously conservative states, this so-called anti-obscenity law, which also banned vulgar language, basically you couldn't swear, you couldn't beg, or you couldn't buy from street sellers, was put in place by then Mayor Eduardo Romero Hicks of the right-wing PAN party. I'm not too familiar with Mexico's political stances and stuff like that, so let me know if you know what that is, or PAN party, whatever that's supposed to be. Naturally, the law provoked outrage and protest and was frozen a few days later, and basically they just shut that down because obviously they got so much hate for it. Like, you got a whole place in the city called Kissing Alley, dude. Like, you're gonna ban public displays of affection? Like, that's, I don't know, bro. Weird to me, but maybe not to them. Anyways, moving on to the next one. Up next is messing up the national anthem. Mexico is a patriotic nation, and this is reflected in their overwhelming respect for the flag and the official national anthem. In fact, there are several chapters of law dedicated to honoring and correctly performing the Himno Nacional Mexicano, and playing it incorrectly could see you saddled with a fine or the need to apologize to the entire country. Alright, like, basically, they take this super, super serious. I mean, of course, I'm sure you see on the news, people claim that they, you know what I mean, they love the national anthem here. Bro, I've never heard anybody really care about singing the national anthem unless you maybe go to a sports game. Like, I don't know. I never heard of you catching a fine or having to publicly apologize to the entire country if you mess up a word or something. Because, to be honest, I don't even know if I know it at this point. Like, I don't know. It's been a while, so moving on to the next thing, but let me know if you know it. Let me know. I want to hear the Mexican thing. So up next is taking pork scratchings across the border. Basically, there are several products not allowed to cross borders as souvenirs. Basically, live or dead animals, plant products, illegal weapons and drugs, normal ones. But there are also some stranger items banned by the US that people may want to bring from Mexico, which are mainly actually just pork products. These technically cannot, under any circumstance, be brought into the US, so you might as well just leave them in Mexico. Because basically, if you bring them over, you can run the risk of being thrown in airport jail and probably catch some fines. And over some pork rinds, or like, you know what I mean, like crispy chicharron, whatever, you don't want to be doing this at the end of the day. Like, I wouldn't want to go to jail over that. Like, I'll just wait till I get over here and buy it. Like, I don't know. I don't travel much though, so anyways, moving on to the next one. So last up on this list is listening to Narcocorridos in Chihuahua, Sinaloa, and a few other Mexican cities. Narcocorridos are popular drug ballads which detail the explicit exploits of known drug dealers, drug runners, and cartel heads, and draw in from the norteño genre. However, despite originating in the north of the country, which is well known for its illegal narcotic enterprise, Narcocorridos were banned in public concerts a few years back in the states of Chihuahua, Sinaloa, and they were banned in all those cities after a shooting occurred at a Narcocorrido concert. And basically this entire thing was just trying to stop or slow down Narcos culture in general. But basically in 2016, the law was overturned again in Sinaloa, and ever since then, I mean, you can look up videos. The cartel apparently has been running rampant ever since then, and obviously we all know what comes with that. So anyways, Appreciate you guys getting all the way through this. If you did, like I said, let me know about any other countries that you want me to cover. I'm definitely covering the US because we have too many states with weird laws. So that's for sure coming. I got a couple more that I want to do for European countries and stuff like that. But anything specific, please let me know down below. If you made this far, make sure you like, subscribe, tell a friend. And yeah, other than that, get laid. I'll catch you guys later. Stay safe, stay dangerous.